Hello, everyone, and thank you for joining us. My name is Juliet, and I will be the moderator for today's webinar. Before we dive into the content, let me cover a few housekeeping items. At the bottom of your screen are multiple engagement tools you can use. All tools are resizable and movable, so feel free to move them around to get the most out of your desktop space. You can expand your presentation area or maximize it to full screen by clicking on the arrows in the top right corner. If you have any audio or video issues, you can find answers to some common technical issues located in the help widget at the bottom of your screen. Please note that a copy of today's slide deck and additional resources are available in the resource list. Please have a look and download everything that you may find useful. Also, the webinar will be recorded and sent via the email you registered with. Lastly, if you have any other questions during the presentation, you can submit them through the Q&A widget. We are here to answer you live via the chat, so don't hesitate to reach out throughout the presentation. Now, I'll give you a quick intro of our speakers. Today, we are joined by James Roach. He has 30+ years of experience in product development and manufacturing transformation and a strategic advisor to PLM programs across the Americas, Europe, and Asia. As SimData's Aerospace and Defense Practice Director, he facilitates cooperation and expansion of the PLM value footprint within and across participants in the value chain and administers the A&D PLM Action Group. We are also joined by Carrie Brychek. She is the Director of Solutions for Aerospace and Defense at Jama Software, with a focus on the specialized business and technical needs unique to this market. She helps lead the company in systems engineering and MBSE domain. She has over 25 years of experience leading systems engineering in the A&D industry with roles in the U.S. government, Lockheed Martin, PTC, and Jama Software. She is a member of INCOSI and a member of Women in Aerospace organization. Outside of work, she enjoys playing jazz guitar and gardening around her farm, which sometimes requires the operation of tractors and UAVs. And with that, I'll pass it over to you, James.
Thank you, Julia. And thank you to Jama Software for inviting me to participate in today's discussion of the exciting and important topic of digital thread. In this presentation, we'll report key findings from recent research on the topic of digital thread conducted by SimData on behalf of the Aerospace and Defense PLM Action Group member companies in collaboration with Jama Software and other PLM solution providers. We will begin with an introduction of how this research came about, who sponsored it, and for what purpose. We'll explain how the information was gathered and from whom. Then we will review the key findings from the research in various categories as shown here. The what and why of the digital thread, the current reality, planning future investments, and solution capability and provider alignment with the needs of and strategies of their industrial customers. I will then turn the session over to my colleague from Jama Software, Carrie Brychek. The initiators and prime sponsors of this research are 7 A&D OEMs who are the current members of the Aerospace and Defense PLM Action Group. Since its founding in 2014, the A&D PLM Action Group has sponsored research and jointly staffed projects on topics such as model-based definition, multiple view bill of materials, PLM technology obsolescence management, global collaboration, model-based system engineering, and digital twin digital thread. The members regularly interact with the principal PLM solution providers in project collaborations and executive level strategic discussions. The group's leadership has recently determined to expand its reach into the PLM solution provider community and engage in collaborative research and dialogue on strategic topics. The topic selected for this program was digital thread. We know that investment in digital thread today is real and substantial, and the level of investment will continue to rise. That reality positions digital thread as an emerging strategic opportunity within the PLM ecosystem to invest effectively in solution development as a software provider or solution implementation as an industrial user requires insight into current state enablers and barriers and future investment drivers. The shared objective of this research was to gain understanding of needs and opportunities within industry that will inform digital thread solution strategy and roadmap and guide industrial implementations. The project used two methods of gathering information: subject matter expert interviews and an online survey. Interviews were conducted by SimData with three communities: the participating solution providers, key A&D customers nominated by the participating sponsors, and the A&D action group member companies. The second method of information gathering was through a web-based survey targeted toward a broader community of PLM practitioners in industry. The learnings from the interviews were applied to develop the line of inquiry for the web-based survey. SimData conducted a total of 15 interviews, 5 with the solution provider sponsors, 5 with their key customers, and 5 with A&D action group members. A total of 90 complete and validated survey responses were received and have been analyzed. Review of the names of the companies represented and the positions held by the interviewees and survey respondents confirms that the information received is representative of the most influential companies and leading thinkers within the aerospace and defense industry. The survey was open to all industries, but it was targeted toward and most heavily promoted within aerospace and defense, and nearly 60% of responses were from that industry. The response distribution was evenly spread across company size by revenue. We began our interviews and the survey with an exploration of the what and the why of digital thread. The conceptual understanding of digital thread within industry is very immature. All interviews began with the question, what is your definition of digital thread? Which yielded 15 different definitions. Nearly half of the companies surveyed do not have a commonly accepted definition of digital thread, and less than 10% use a published definition. Our search for the reasons for digital thread's rise to prominence revealed that traditional drivers such as product complexity, time to market, and search for efficiencies are clearly still in play. But new realities, such as rising customer expectations, as evidenced in the DoD's digital engineering strategy with an authoritative source of truth, and new enabling technologies are major drivers of the digital thread's rise to prominence. Among specialists, there is a broad shared perception of what digital thread does and what a digital thread is. The most prominent characteristic of what a digital thread is and what it does relate to establishing linkages and traceability between product data. Interestingly, if you combine the most prominent characteristics of what a digital thread does, you have a reasonable definition of the digital thread. Establishes traceability of product information across multiple domains in the life cycle: mechanical, electrical, electronic, software, and firmware, to provide meaningful relationship connections between a product's digital assets.